Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the closing event for the Adult Learning Festival 2020. Hello to the participants of the 6 groups who took part in our Adult Learner Festival project 2020 and who are watching this morning. To the Maynooth Women's Group, to Eva Lorraine in Maynooth, to the Sharing Skills Group in Selbridge, the Bridge Camp Hill in Kilcullen, Newbridge Women's Group, and Death High Women's Group. Welcome to all the tutors who put in so much enthusiasm and commitment to the project, to Natalie, Cecilia, Morgan, Leodane, Stephanie and Orla. To the community education team who make sure that everything runs smoothly, in particular Connor, who is the project lead, Lisa, Soriana and Stephanie. This is our first online event. We had planned an event much different to this, but like many things, it has been cancelled due to COVID-19. And as we're a resilient and adaptable programme, here we are online. The main purpose is to celebrate and to share the wonderful projects that each of you took part in as part of the festival. On a sad note, we remember Marion McKeown especially today. Marion was a member of the Bridge Camp Hill group, and her premature and unexpected death shocked us all. On behalf of all of those involved, we would like to offer our sympathies to her family at their great loss. And we would like to pause now to remember her. Each year in March, ANTUS, the National Organisation for Adult Education, holds a festival to celebrate adult learning. This year, we set the theme, Saving the Planet Together. One of the goals of community education is to address the issues of our time. This is even more to the forefront of our minds now when we see the positive effects that lockdown has had on the environment. When we set the theme, we wait in anticipation to see the creativity of groups and how they interpret the theme and the innovative projects that they come up with. In fact, it is one of the highlights of the year for us. During the time that you participated on the project, you committed to come together with your tutor and to work together for 15 weeks. But we know that you invested much more than that. You committed to come together with your tutor. You negotiated content, you solved the problems that you came across, you participated fully, and you supported each other through it all. And there have been many benefits. The benefits have been on 3 different fronts. Personally, in terms of the community, and in terms of the wider society. On a personal level, you gained knowledge, skills, you made friends. I know that some groups visited the events that other groups organised. At a community level, you shared your learning by having an event in your local community where you could share what you had learned and hopefully influence others. And there's impacts for the wider society. It is becoming clear to us all that caring for the planet that we all live in is of urgent priority. By participating, you showed that you care, that you want to learn about the issues and to take action. This idea of caring about an issue, learning about it and taking action is the essence of community education and benefits us all. Next, I want to let you know the format of our event. We'll start off by a short film which gives an overview of the projects put together by our tutor Morgan. Next, we will look at the feedback we received from you about the impact that participating on the project has had on you. Then we will have the presentation of certificates. And then finally, the Sharing Skills project was the making of a film, and this will be the first showing to the wider public. You're in for a treat. After this event is over, it will be possible to listen back to it and to share it with friends, family, and the wider community by going to our website. We hope that you enjoy it, and thank you.
The theme of Ireland Festival is Save the Planet.
Can you recycle all you can? Rinse each item right out. The right bin for each item is what recycling is all about.
We've been doing some flags and banners to facilitate recycling.
We're going to get the message across, inviting the schools to see our recycling station. We're going to bring them on a tour around the bridge community, and we're going to start a conversation about recycling.
The group is Green Energy, and we're all about helping the environment. We've learned a lot about recycling and what should be recycled, what shouldn't be recycled. We use this. This is our compost bin. That we put all our peelings and all our waste into this, our vegetables and potatoes and everything. Goes out on the plants in the lawn.
Well, we're in the middle of a project we started about 5 months ago to upcycle a garden, trying to make people aware that so much rubbish doesn't have to be dumped, that you can use it for other things like we have done, making flowers and using old DVD boxes to make flower pots and quite a lot of things like that. There's so much dumping going on nationwide, and we want to show people that you don't have to dispose of these things, you can reuse them.
We wanted to do something creative and at the same time raise awareness of the environment. So we decided to use our own clothes and turn them into bags. So we're going to place them in shops, charity shops, the library itself, super value stalls on the street, the fruit and veg stalls on the street. And next time they come back to the shop, they can bring it back and leave it there.
And we hope that people won't use plastic, they'll use these bags instead.
It gives people something to talk about and be aware of what's happening.
This is Sharing Skills. Sharing Skills is a visual arts and crafts group, and it's based on the idea that everybody has talent and everybody is welcome to come to learn and to share what they've got, their skill. We're trying to make art affordable and accessible for everybody. Because of our interest in the outdoors and how we all feel about climate change and stepping up and taking our own responsibility. Well, as individual citizens, we can do so much. As a group of people together, we can do a little bit more. We thought, let's develop our filmmaking skills, but to capture things that, that we're wondering about or that we think are really worthwhile and we want to share with other people. With the help of KWETB, we are going to make a TV show which is going to explore our interests and our concerns about environment, and with YouTube and online video, we can bring the message of sharing skills to a much wider audience. We also can show off the beauty of our wonderful town here in Selbridge.
We are the Maynooth Women's Group, and we are exploring the advantages of growing food organically and sustainably. We are learning about the soil and the seed and how important it is to treat the soil with kindness and allow nature work its own magic on the seeds that we sow. We are applying our learning to this raised bed. And it's located in the centre of Maynooth and is kindly provided by the Eva Lorraine community. We are doing this to show how easy it is to grow food organically in small spaces. We would also hope to sow seeds of inspiration and encouragement in others to get involved in growing edible gardens.
I hope you're enjoying the show so far. Every year, the Adult Learner Festival brings us an amazing journey of learning and discovery. And once again this year, it has been a pleasure to work with you all. To acknowledge the commitment of all of you, our learner groups, and because of the theme of this year's Adult Learner Festival, we've decided to sponsor a tree for each group. This tree will be planted on the Kildare-Wicklow border near Blessington Reservoir by the Native Woodland Trust. Your group leader will receive a certificate acknowledging the planting of your group's tree in the coming days. Not forgetting our individual learners, individual certificates of participation will be issued and sent to each group leader, who can then pass them on to the individual learners in your own group. With the help of our tutors, we asked you for some feedback. Thank you for sharing that with us. And our tutors have put that together into a series of word art images. It's always great to hear your stories about what participating in the Adult Learner Festival has meant to you. We'll finish with the online premiere of the environmental film by Sharing Skills in Selbridge. All that's left for me to say is thanks for watching, stay safe, and keep well.
Agrina Ushla, Fáilte go Kildrehead. Welcome to How Can We Save the Planet Together? A Sharing Skills production in collaboration with KWETB Community Education as part of the Kildare Adult Learner Festival 2020. Let us bring you on a journey to see how our community has been responding to the call to save our planet.
Selbridge is beautiful, thanks to the amazing commitment of our Tidy Towns Committee. They are the guardians of our environment.
Selbridge Tidy Towns are Oscoilga, Balcha, Slough, Kildrehead. Our aims are to make Selbridge a nice place to live and for visitors alike, a nice place to visit. Today we're out here to do some of our jobs, and you can see we have our crew all around us here. People always say, oh, you're doing a great job, and Tidy Towns, lovely only for you, like, you know, and you bring business to the town always looks well, and you're doing a great job. In the National Tidy Towns competition, last 5 years we've achieved a silver medal. Last 2 years we thought we might get the highest accolade, the gold medal. We just missed it by a point. So we're hoping for the gold medal.
We're standing in the workhouse graveyard here on the Maynooth Road. The workhouse is back behind us. It's actually now the paint factory, and the workhouse was built in the beginning of the 1840s. Part of our mission statement and part of what we have to do for the national competition, we have really high commitment to biodiversity. Our bees are in trouble. We decided last year that we would allow half of the graveyard into allowing it to become a meadow or a wildflower meadow. To allow a wildflower meadow to grow, you cut it once a year towards the end of September, and then really it should be raked off. And we put a sign out by the wall and we say to people, this is for purposes of biodiversity and pollination. Normally we're visible out picking up litter. I think people see that that's what Tidy Towns is about. Tidy Towns is about an awful lot more. We also look at things like planning and the development of the town, the historical aspects of the town, maintaining things like the old stone walls, you know, everything, all of that falls onto Tidy Towns. That's how you can contact us, and you can also contact us through our website.
Join us as we bring you back in time 1400 years ago to a site meticulously restored by the T-Lane Graveyard Committee.
My name is Breda Constantine and I'm the chairperson of T-Lane Graveyard Committee. We're a conservation project here in Selbridge and we were established around 2012. T-Lane is an important historical site dating back to the 6th century, founded by St. Makua. It's also the burial ground of Henry Grattan Jr. and William Connolly of Castletown. We're delighted that T-Lane has gone from a derelict, closed site to a vibrant community cultural space, used regularly. We have guided walks, we have cultural and drama groups, and it's a fabulous performance space if you're looking for an intimate gig venue. And we're very proud to say we had Finbar Fury, so we welcome national artists, and we're also looking for local artists who are looking for an intimate 50-seater venue. And if you want to perform here, the best way to contact us is through our Facebook page, and we'd love to hear from you.
In sharing skills, creativity through art is what we do. We've learned that there is no better way of reconnecting with nature than going out into it.
Here in Leixlip we have nature at its finest. My name's Sam Carden and we're going to do a little bit of painting today. Now we're getting lovely light. Do you see 2 minutes ago it was coming down with rain, now it's bright. We can have 4 seasons in half an hour. So what we want to do is we want to record this here. This is a lovely little spot because you've got an entrance in there, you've got a mystical sort of thing in there, you've got the lamp and you've got the chair. So what we do is we take a photograph of this. On your first copy, I put a grid, right? I put the grid and I put a grid onto the canvas so that you get placement. So now we've got the placement of where the lamp is and where this here is, where the path is going to go in. And if we want to do that there design, we've got placement for that there design. We have a little bit of a background in here. So what do we have? We have some sort of a tree coming in here. We have sort of a mystical sort of thing. We've got a tree. We've got a tree there in the background. So like that there. Yep. And we have bits and pieces. You see we've got a tree over there. Okay, and we have bits of branch coming up in here. Don't worry about that there. There's a bit in there, up there. Get the basic shape of this, of that there foliage there, right? We get the basic shape of that foliage over there. But we'll establish this here, the entrance in here. Don't worry about the colour. We're worrying about texture and we're worrying about flow. Well, as you can see, we're getting on very well here, our budding artists. And what is so interesting about the creative concept is everybody has their own pull on it. This is the most important thing. Nothing gets started in a painting unless you put paint onto the canvas.
It was good. I've never done it before, so it was worth a shot, and it was cold but enjoyable.
Artists since they dip their hand into pigment and put their hand up against the cave wall have been copying their environment, and nature's such a perfect artist. There was something in the natural world that got me started. That was my grandmother. She showed me a swallow. And she said, when you see the swallow, the cold is gone. Mr. Frost has left us. They come away from Africa and they come from the Mediterranean and they'll come from all over the world, and they come here. She says there's this nature spirit, and she plays certain type of music for these birds, and these birds come. Well, I painted that there nature spirit playing the violin. That was 65 years later, for a little boy of 5 hearing that story, and then the artist 60 odd years later painting it. And everything is so connected and so beautiful, and we connect ourselves with it. And honestly, we've been losing ourselves away with pollution and pollutants and everything. And we're forgetting that, you know what, we can get right back to nature anytime you want.
Come with me as we visit one of the most innovative environmental initiatives in Celbridge, the Acre Project.
Good morning and welcome to the Acre Project. My name's Joanne, I'm the manager here, and you'll find us on the Maynooth Road at the entrance to the Salesian College. And if you'd like to come in, I'll give you a tour of our sensory garden. So originally the Acre Project was set up in 2008, and it was initially just one building and the model lawns. And then we realised over time that there was a greater need because more people were using the place, so we decided that in 2011 we'd put in a sensory garden to meet the needs of the users of the Acre Project and to give the community a space where they can come and sit and learn about ecology and the importance of the environment. Sensory garden is a garden that has plants that appeals to the 5 senses. So for example, we have the grass for sound, we have bay trees and we have herbs for smell and for taste, we have apple trees for taste, we have lamb's ear for touch, and then of course we have the different colours for the sight. In the sensory garden we plant specific plants particularly to attract butterflies and bees. So mainly one of the most important plants that I find out here is our verbena, and they are such a good plant to have in your garden. If you have one verbena plant, it takes very little looking after, it'll self-seed everywhere, and you will have bees and butterflies in your garden all summer long, and they're so important. So let me show what else we have going on in the Acre Project. This is our polytunnel, and in the next few weeks it's going to be a hub of activity with everyone sowing their seeds and getting ready for planting all their fruit and veg in the summer. So in here, this is primarily for the transition year students. They would use it a lot, and then different groups that would rent our building. So we'd have John of Gods would do some planting, the National Learning Network, and any other groups that might use the place. And then of course, anything that is grown in here is always given out to the volunteers that help us, because we'd be lost without our volunteers. So here is our pollinator bed that was planted by the transition year students as part of Science Week. And this bed is primarily to attract bees and butterflies into our garden. There was 150 saplings planted in one afternoon. What we're hoping to do is to get school children in, maybe have school tours, and the children will help us plant up these beds with pollinator plants. So again, they learn a little bit about the environment, the importance of what plants to put in your garden, and how important it is to have bees and butterflies. Then the children will come to the polytunnel, and this is where they'll plant all their fruit and vegetables. Because there's a kitchen in the Acre Project, once the fruit and veg is ready, the kids will be able to cook with it and taste it, and hopefully get them into healthy eating. Now I'd like to bring you up and introduce you to some very special lovely ladies that are an integral part of the Acre Project, and we would not be able to carry on without them. So if you'd like to follow me. So this is our lovely ladies, our rescue hens. They came from Battery Farms. So at the moment we have 12 hens. When they came to the Acre Project, they didn't have a feather on them at all. It was so sad. But in 3 weeks, they were fully back to normal and they were laying eggs again. So they would have been a year old when they came to us, and now these hens would be 2 years old now, and they're still laying. And they're just fantastic, and they're great. We find a lot of times we have certain kids from the school will come and feed the hens every day, and groups that are using the kitchen and cooking, rather than throwing away the waste food, it goes to the hens. So it's a win-win, and of course I get an egg a day from them, so I'm very lucky. We have found that a lot of knowledge that we took for granted has been lost in the years gone by. So we'd really like to reintroduce the community back to the environment, understanding about the importance of bees and butterflies and the diversity of plants and what we need to do to help the environment. Thanks very much for coming on our tour. I really appreciate you coming to visit the Acre Project, and please spread the word that we are open to the public Monday to Friday 9 to 5. We'd like as many visitors as possible because this is for the community.
We met up with Celebrate's Access Group, who are working towards ensuring public access to all.
We're freezing here in Celbridge today, but I'd like to introduce you to Celbridge Access Group. We're part of a wider network of access groups throughout the county of Kildare, working to make the county more inclusive and accessible for everybody. We've done a number of things in Celbridge. For example, we work closely with the engineers to get the roadscape renewed and put more dips in the road to allow people with buggies or wheelchairs or other mobility problems to cross over the street. Nicola here is going to talk to you just a bit about what Centra's done to make their shop more accessible.
We just wanted to show a good example of improvement in accessibility in Celbridge is the entrance to Centra here, which used to have quite a large step and a narrow entrance to the door. And now they've done quite a low access ramp and automatic doors into the shop, which makes it much easier for anybody with any mobility issues or anybody with buggies and the likes to get into the shop.
We've still got a lot of things to do in Celbridge. There's a number of properties that are not accessible yet, partly because they've got big steps into the shop. Last year, with a group called Access Earth, we mapped the town and found that only 20% of the businesses are actually accessible to somebody in a wheelchair. So that also means they're difficult for somebody, say, with a buggy or anybody with mobility problems. So we've still got lots of work to do. If you'd like to join us, you can contact us and direct message us on our Twitter, which is at Celbridge Access or you could email us at celbridgeaccess@gmail.com. We're always looking for volunteers to help us with our work. Thank you.
Thank you.
Finally, Ireland was once covered in trees. Today we have the lowest tree cover of any country in Europe. We caught up with Mark Tuig of Straffan, a teacher who in his spare time has planted a broadleaf wood, a preview of the future.
There's a tiny patch of red cedar there, So 6% red cedar, 6% Scots pine, then there's some birch, then there's 30% beech and 50% oak. So it's mainly oak. You know, we planted the trees 2 years ago and I even feel my whole life has changed as a result, because it's like you don't get panicky about rushing things because you're like, you know, everything comes at its own pace. My wife and I are from Cork and Kerry. We moved up to Dublin. We got out of Dublin. We were welcomed by Kildare. We bought this farm and we planted 20 acres into forestry. We have some special breed pigs, some special breed sheep, we have some fruit trees, we have some veg planted, and I suppose the goal is to create that combined with a retreat kind of vibe. It's to create I call it a Grey Cuckoo Farm presence monastery. So it's somewhere where you can come and get away, remove the interference and distractions in your life and connect with where you are and where you want to go. We are, in my opinion, living in a renaissance at the moment globally. We've never had a greater sharing of knowledge, and we've never had a greater change in technology, ever. You know, we had the invention of the printing press and look what came after that. So we've had problems in the past as humans, and you know, this is our current challenge. And yes, we're the reason this happened. We are absolutely capable of solving it as well, you know, and that's the beautiful thing when you look at the internet and you look at what people are doing around the world. That's just so much fertile ground, and what's going to come out of that is just absolutely fascinating. Yeah, it's really exciting.
At Journey's End, we have learned through the actions of the groups that by making small changes, we can impact positively the story of our planet.
Our thanks go to KWETB Community Education for the invitation to the 6 groups who generously shared their vision.
To Sharing Skills supporters in Selbridge Community Library, Respond Housing, St John of God Services, to the fantastic crew who came on location in all weathers, and thanks to our gifted tutor and filmmaker, Morgan Fulham, who brought our vision to the screen.
As learners, we developed skills, made new friendships, built connections to the other groups. We've tried to capture the richness of the natural heritage of our part of County Kildare.